Alright guys, I just wanted to give you a shot of underneath here. It's going to be hard for me to record anything for you, but as you can see, it's a pretty tight squeeze between the front rear and the oil pan, but it squeezes in. Right up there is your flex plate. I don't know if you can see that in there, but you reach that hole and you could spin that torque converter until you can line up your bolts. And that'll be your torque converter bolts. And of course, like anything else, you got your bell bolts and your starter. So just get everything in there and get it tight. Pretty straightforward. Then you come around here and you got your exhaust. You just slide up your flange, put your bolts in, get that together. Same thing on the other side. You got a wire connection that comes around here to the crank sensor, which is right there. Same thing on the other side. You got your exhaust flange, your starter, and the rest of your bell bolts. And the torque converter bolts, get them tight. You don't want them coming loose. And you got your motor mounts. And your other motor mount. I don't know if you can see it from here. Right up there. Install your motor mount bolts. When you go to put your torque converter bolts in, as you can see, I got one started there. Actually, that's my second one that I got in. When you put them in, run them down and then loosen them up a little bit. That way it pulls the torque converter into the flex plate, and then when you loosen it up a little bit, it lets that torque converter free float until you get all the bolts started. And we're just going to turn the crank until I get to the next hole. Okay. There's one there. I don't know if you can see that coming up. Start the bolt. Okay, as you see, I just ran it in finger tight. You want it tight enough, you want it far enough in so it's not going to hit the block when you turn the crank around, but you also want it loose enough that you can still line up with the rest of your bolts. As you can see, these tranny cooling lines have a plastic clip. That's a plastic clip that goes on this second one in from the corner, that stud. I actually had it in the wrong spot. I had to switch that around. So that took a little extra time. As you can see, all the shields back up, and all the rest of the bell bolts are in. You see the exhaust is all bolted up. Right on the side of the transmission there's a bracket that goes to the front rear. Starter's in. Exhaust is all hooked up. I guess you guys can do my pre-inspection so I can let this thing off the jack. The mount's all bolted up. Alright guys, think we get started up top. Alright, got everything hooked up underneath. So I'll let this thing down. Get started on the top. Get started on the top. Alright guys, I don't have much time. I'll get as much done here as I can. gonna check the intake, replace the gaskets. Yeah, this intake's spotless. You would know if there was pieces in there, you'd hear it. Alright, let's install the intake. All our new gaskets are installed good. They should hold they hold themselves in pretty good. Don't need to put anything on it. Okay. Alright, make sure your gaskets are still good. All their bolts. Alright, get them all torqued down the spec. Alright, put your fuel rail back in. Okay, that side's in. Okay, get your bolts. Install the coil packs. Okay, put your nuts on. Get that on, close that on. Put your tensioner on. Tighten your end specs. Okay, install the idler. Install the power steering pump. Now let's reinstall the AC compressor. The alternator generator. Man, it's starting to look like a motor again. For attention. Dookie. Cheers. I believe this one's regular thread too, guys. Yeah, regular thread. That's tight. These two bolts might be a little tight to get to, but finishing up, hooking up the vacuum hoses, getting everything going over everything. Make sure I didn't miss nothing. Got the new PVC valve hooked up. I had to make up a new vacuum line for the evaporation. Emission control valve here, purge solenoid, whatever you want to call it. Getting the battery charged. Then I'm going to put some oil in it. And I see red. I guess I know there's something in there to get it started. I think everything's hooked back up, guys, except for the battery. Fill up the oil filter with oil. Go underneath and put her on. Put some oil in it. Check your power steering fluid. Actually pretty good. Okay guys, we got fluid in it. Power steering, antifreeze, oil. Crank this over and see if we get some oil pressure up. I got the fuse out for the fuel pump. I'm just going to crank it a little bit. Fingers crossed, guys. Plug this in and see what happens. Keep an eye out for any leaks. Have a look. Got the air cleaner on it. Everything's buttoned up. Just topped off the fluids. Let's fire this puppy up. See how she sounds. Hopefully the battery's first enough. Good oil pressure, no engine lights are on. Sounds pretty smooth. Got it. Really good so far, guys. Let her sit here and idle for a bit. Try to open up some doors. Alright guys, there it is. The only thing left I gotta do is put the hood on it, inner fender covers, take it for a spin. It's been sitting here running for about an hour now. It's up to operating temperature. I don't see any leaks. I had one small leak on a heater hose. I had to take one of them original clamps off with a regular size clamp to get it to stop leaking. Other than that, this thing's running really good. I'm happy with it. Nice and smooth. Real good oil pressure. No noises. Very responsive. I can tell this motor's going to be good for a long time. So, like always guys, thanks for watching. If you learned anything, all I ask that you subscribe. Feel free to comment, leave any suggestions. Like I said before, I don't always have a chance to get everything on video here, so you leave some suggestions and I'll do my best to get to them if I get them in. You know, they may take a little while before I get the particular car that you need, but when I do, I will make sure I put it up for you. And stay tuned. Have a good one, guys.